Hi, everybody. Good to be with you this evening. It's Tuesday evening. It's Region Weather Meteorologist Matt Wintz with a look at some lake effect snow that's coming our way really late in the day tomorrow. We've got a big temperature drop that's going to happen during the day tomorrow. That would be Wednesday. And then on into Thursday, we'll likely have some lake effect around the region. And some of that could be heavy. I'll show you what we're talking about. We had a post earlier today about this, and I think we've got more details now. We have a pretty good idea how this is going to play out in terms of who gets it, who doesn't. That's still the question with lake effect snow. So I want to jump into it and bring you guys on board here. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Rhonda. Hi, Amy from DeMont. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Gina. And hi, Drew. Thanks for joining us, you guys. I hope you're all staying warm outside. Today was kind of nice. I mean, we were into the upper 30s, low 40s across the region. We've got a nice south wind. This is out ahead of some changes, though. You always know we can't have nice things for too long around here. And things are going to go downhill in terms of temps, and that happens tonight. So here's what we're dealing with. Hi, Brandy. Thanks for joining us here tonight. So here's what we're dealing with weather-wise. On the surface map, you can see this is where we are right now. We've got a nice, strong southwest wind. It's brought in warmer air. They were in the 50s down in St. Louis today. We made it up into the low 40s, but off towards our north, there's a pretty sharp cold front. This is another Arctic front. We get quite a few of these in January, and we have another one right on the heels of this. So you can see as we go through time, we have that strong south wind that becomes more of a westerly wind and then a northwesterly wind tonight. So I'm expecting the front to pass through the region probably between 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. And when it does, our wind is not just only going to shift, but our temperatures will start to fall as well. So we're going to kind of hover in the 30s, probably mid and upper 30s. We'll probably hold there through about midnight. And then after midnight, it's a free fall. We have a strong northwest wind that's going to turn northerly tomorrow. We'll likely have gusts of 30 at times. It's just going to be windy with falling temperatures during the day. Most of the day should be dry. We may have some flurries here and there. It doesn't look to be too big a deal during the day. The big thing that you'll notice, though, is the cold. We'll be in the upper 20s around daybreak. So for bus stop and commute to work tomorrow morning, it's going to be blustery and colder. But then by afternoon, when you come home or when you're picking up the kids from the bus stop, it's going to be even colder than that. We'll be back into the teens likely. We'll probably have wind chill values that are at zero, probably towards the 8, 9, 10 o'clock hour, and then they'll go below zero tomorrow night. So as you're out the door tomorrow morning, you're going to know it's cold, but just prepare for extra cold tomorrow afternoon. With that cold air coming across the lake, you know how that works. It's going to pick up some lake effect snow. Most of our lake effect events so far this season have been targeted at southwest lower Michigan. We've had more of a northwesterly fetch. Our setup with this one is actually brings in more of a northerly wind across the region. So that would target areas of LaPorte and Porter County for some of the heavier snow. And you can see it here on the modeling, how the snow looks to develop tomorrow afternoon and evening. Well, with that cold air coming across, that looks to happen during the afternoon, maybe up in Michigan. That's it. But as we get on into tomorrow night, that's when that wind kind of veers around to more northerly and then even a little bit of a northeasterly fetch as this high pressure builds in. And you notice those lake effect snow bands now come into northwest Indiana, and you can see how we get a couple perhaps heavier bands that come into the region before everything kind of settles and winds down, not until Friday morning at this point. So I want to go a little bit more local for you here so we can take a look at this. And again, this is the model that I'm choosing. It's called the NAM-NEST. This isn't the only model that we look at, but I want to keep this conversation kind of just simple on the basis to say, here's what's coming, and then we'll kind of fine tune it tomorrow. And then once the lake effect develops, we'll be able to forecast it pretty well in terms of where it's going to move and go. But again, you could look at any model you want here, but this is the one that I chose because I think it just handles the big picture a little bit better. So here we go, Friday afternoon. You can see all the snow up in Michigan. Not Friday, Wednesday afternoon. All the snow's up in Michigan. And again, it's tomorrow evening on into tomorrow night. I don't think we're going to have problems for the evening rush hour tomorrow outside of that cold. It's tomorrow night and then Thursday morning that I'm a little bit concerned with. And the reason why is because we not only bring lake effect snow into Porter and LaPorte counties, but there's also going to be probably a more significant band of snow that develops, those main snow bands that produce the 1 to 2 inch hour rates that develop somewhere in Michigan, and that will come south Thursday morning. So that would be the big concern. We'll have lake snow, but we could add on to that some heavier lake snow in pockets. This particular model brings that heavy band in 5, 6 o'clock in the morning into LaPorte County. You can see it doesn't quite make it into Porter County. It kind of hangs out in LaPorte County for a couple hours, and then eventually it'll head out towards the east, towards South Bend, as the winds kind of shift around. But the wind doesn't completely shift, so we're still dealing with some lake effect snow showers and flurries all the way on into Thursday night. So there you go. In terms of accumulations, this is a preliminary look. You know how lake effect goes. It can be so different from one neighborhood to the next. Depends on who gets that main band. I mentioned in this morning's post when this caught our eye, I thought a good 2 to 4 inches with higher amounts in eastern Porter County look good. I thought a good 3 to 6 incher for LaPorte County. And I haven't seen this model run, so let's see what we're thinking here in terms of what we're dealing with. This one isn't showing the accumulation here, so I don't know why it's not doing that. Yeah, it's not at all. It's not switching over like I want it to, but I could easily see over 6 inches in areas of LaPorte County from this, and that would be mainly Thursday morning through Thursday afternoon, especially if we get that mega band in here. What kind of snow are we going to have? It's a question I saw come in a couple times on actually on our YouTube channel. I think it'll be a heavier or a lighter fluffy snow that kind of blows around some of those big flakes that we typically get with lake effect events. So it would be easy to shovel, easy to push around, but it would certainly be something that adds up quickly because remember, the fluffy flakes do not compact like wet snow does. So we could see some higher totals out of that. So again, that's just kind of a preliminary look at it. It'll be cold, it'll be windy as well, so blowing snow would be an issue. And the time frame that I would target would be Thursday morning rush hour, and then again for that evening rush hour. For those of you, I saw a couple questions coming in on what about Lake County. It does look like Lake County will probably escape the most of this one. We'll have to see during that Thursday late morning time frame if that snow band can swing all the way in. But as of right now, it would probably just be flurries or snow showers at best for you in Lake County. And then Porter and LaPorte counties would see the bulk of the heaviest snow, with the highest probability being LaPorte County out of this one. But Porter County, we can't rule you out for this. That would also go in areas of Stark County. And then if you have travel plans Thursday out towards South Bend, could be a decent lake effect event for them as well. Okay. All right. So I want to answer your questions as we always do on Region Weather Live. And again, we'll have another update for you tomorrow on this as everything's kind of taking shape as that cold air is really locking in across the lake. But that's kind of where we're going from there. All right. Hi, Bonnie from Eaton Township, who's in Florida right now. That's nice. Hector, hi from East Chicago. Hi there, Mary. That's interesting. So Chris asked a really good question. Why does it always seem to be lake effect snow? Do we get lake effect rain in the summer? We don't, Chris. We get lake effect rain sometimes in the fall. So if we go back to basics, what is lake effect? Lake effect is simply the fact that we have a warmer body of water that's huge, right? Lake Michigan, and that warm water needs cold air to go over it. That doesn't happen in the summertime, right? Our water is usually colder in the summertime with warmer air going over it. So that doesn't happen. So we have our Lake Michigan water, which is relatively warmer compared to the temperature above it, right? It's cold around us. The water is warmer. It's not 40, some degrees up above us. That cold air comes across, and much like a pot of water that you might have boiling on the stove, it steams. So you don't see it, but the lake is putting moisture into the atmosphere as long as it's colder. And then the wind takes that water that's going up that condenses, the wind pushes it inland and the form of snow. So you get these bands of snow based on wind direction and based on how cold the temperature is aloft. The other thing that helps is if you go from Lake Michigan up into our shorelines, especially along the dunes and in Michigan, there's a rise in topography, right? So as that wind comes across, it goes up that hill, right? And when air goes up and it's warm air, like from the water, and it rises, it condenses. And so that's why we can ring out those really high snowfall totals, especially in some of the higher terrain as you get into Southwest Lower Michigan. So hopefully that helps. Ryan, Westville has a good chance at some decent snow from this. I think we could end up over 6 inches in spots in areas of LaPorte County. Samantha asking about Portage. Samantha, I would say Portage stands a little bit less of a chance as some of those higher totals. If I had to put something on, I'd probably say 2 to 4 right now. But again, that could change based on how this lake effect sets up and if it gets far enough to the west. And Wanda's asking Stark County as well. Stark County would be in my 4 to 6 inch total as of right now. Could see more depending on that banding, but I think LaPorte County is going to be the strongest hit from this. Let's see. Heather asking any chance it shifts a bit more east. There's a chance, Heather. It's lake effect. I think it's pretty set on Porter and LaPorte County for right now as it shifts south, but it certainly could for sure. Russ asked an interesting question. What are you seeing for system snows in the next 2 weeks? Russ, we're going to get into a pattern. It's going to be a cold pattern over the next 10 days or so. So we're going to stay on the Arctic side of things. So probably teens and 20s for highs. It's going to be a decent stretch of winter weather. But in terms of system snows, we're going to cut off the Gulf of Mexico over the next week or so. So we're not going to see any big snowstorms, but we're going to get into some Alberta clippers. And so if you've been around here long enough, Alberta clipper systems don't have a lot of moisture with them, but they can give you a quick hit of snow and wind. So I would see, there's a couple of them, like 3 of them aimed at us next week. And I could see, 1 or 2 of those putting down a couple inches of snow in a hurry, and then it clears out and we get cold and windy behind it. So no big snows in the immediate future, but certainly with these Alberta clippers coming in, we should add to some snowpack, right? We should get our snowpack back across the area, especially out in the snow belt. Let's see. Lisa asked, anything to watch from North Carolina to Indiana on Wednesday and Thursday? Need to travel back home. If it's this week, the only thing to watch, Lisa, would be the lake effect here. But then there's going to be a system. I think it's Tennessee and over towards North Carolina. That'll be getting some snow up towards DC. I think the North Carolina snow would kick in this weekend, but the DC and area snow, which shouldn't involve you travel-wise, that will be, I think, Wednesday into Thursday. I don't have it in front of me. I'm just trying to go in from, 7-day forecast in terms of what the map looks like. But Lisa, there's going to be some kind of system down there. And that would be more towards, I think, the Thursday time frame. So you'd have lake effect here. It'll probably be quiet in between, but the Tennessee area might get a little messy. Let's see. Brandon asking, what about snow in Wheatfield? I'm not too sure Wheatfield gets a lot out of this, Brandon. You'll probably have some snow showers around. We'll have to see where that lake effect band sets up, but I don't think Wheatfield's going to get a lot out of this one. Dorothy, Valpo's interesting because you're right on that line in terms of how far west does this band get. I think we'll have a general snow shower activity that could add up. As of right now, my gut just says like 2 to 4 for Valpo. But again, if we get that main band in here, we could see a lot more. Plus, it'll be fluffy, so it'll add up pretty quickly as well. Hobart, I think same thing, maybe a little bit less than Valpo, maybe a 2 to 4 if we squeak things over. Maybe a little bit less though, Felicia. May not be quite as much there, depending on how far west this band can get into areas of Lake County. Great question, Chris. Will this have any impact on flights coming from East Coast to O'Hare on Thursday? I don't think so. We should be relatively unimpacted at O'Hare. The lake effect shouldn't have too big of a deal in terms of, Chicago. I don't think the band gets all the way over there. It'll just be really cold and windy, so it'll be a little bumpy coming in as well. Amanda asking about Marshall County. Let's see. I'm going to try to answer all these at once. Okay, there's another Valpo question as well. Amanda, Marshall County is going to get some snow out of this. I don't think the big robust totals that we're expecting out of the LaPorte County area, but we could certainly squeeze out a couple inches depending on how far south that band goes as well. Anthony, you're welcome. Yep, no problem. I might be getting behind here. Let's see. Mike's a snowplower. What time does the next bad boy start tomorrow? So, Mike, we're expecting it to start in southwest lower Michigan tomorrow afternoon. And then by tomorrow evening, we'll start to see the snow kind of pivot into areas of LaPorte County. And then tomorrow night and Thursday morning is when I'm a little bit concerned that snow band shifts into LaPorte County. And then Thursday all day, it's going to kind of waffle through Porter and LaPorte counties. So that would be the time frame is Thursday during the day. David, yeah, warm up the shovel for sure. James, I don't think there's going to be a lot of snow for Lake County. I think the bulk of this lake effect event will be Porter and LaPorte counties. Kevin always has a sports question. Chicago Bulls playoff run. Absolutely. They're doing well. They're doing okay. What are they, top 3 right now? Or are they still top seed? They were top seed for a little bit. I'm not up to speed on my standings, but, they've got a young team. They look good. And I'd say at least second round this year. At least second round. We'll see who knocks them off, though. I can't really think of anyone that would knock them off. Yep, you're absolutely welcome, Rhonda, for sure. Chris, you're welcome as well. Let's see. Eric is asking about the DeMont area. That's okay. We'd love to just hang out and answer questions here. So Erica, DeMont, gosh, I would say not as much there either. I think you'll be on the lesser side of the total, so maybe a couple inches at best. Again, I think this is going to be a Porter and especially LaPorte County and even a Stark County problem at this point. You're welcome. Darren on our YouTube channel says we're good in Lake County then. I think so, Darren. Yeah. Well, again, it's going to be something to watch. Lake effect is, if we try to predict it, we would be wrong. So I'm not going to, go all out and say totals on this, even though I kind of gave you some numbers. But in terms of Lake County, I think the fetch is just a little bit further to your east. We'll probably get some snow showers or flurries, but I think that's all that we'll get out of that. And again, stay tuned for updates for sure. Chris, another great question. Great questions today, Chris. Are there other big lake effect regions other than us in Buffalo, New York? Yeah. The biggest lake effect regions up in the UP of Michigan. So Marquette, Michigan, they average well over 100 inches a year. Theirs is just more consistent where they're constantly getting it every cold air mass that comes in, whereas ours is really dependent on fetch. So it's depending on the wind direction. So a lot of the times when Lake Michigan's producing lake effect snow, it's in Michigan, it's not in our area. Where other times like this event, when we have more of a northerly wind, that brings it into the area, but doesn't really happen all the time because that wind direction changes so much. Tom, I think you might get some decent snow. We certainly could for a time during the daytime on Thursday. Russ, no, I'm not seeing a lot this weekend. The Sunday to Monday Clipper has a little bit more snow with it. But in terms of any huge system snows, I'm just not seeing anything like that. Yeah, for sure. Lori asking about Boone Grove, Indiana. Again, Lori, I don't think you're going to get a lot of snow in Boone Grove. Likely some snow showers at best. I don't think we're going to get, nailed with a big snowfall event or anything like that. No, Darren, I appreciate that. That's really nice of you to say. Yeah, I mean, this is the real deal. No click here's or anything like that. For sure. I appreciate your comment. Yeah, Kim, you're welcome. We'll see how this plays out. I mean, we could see this where it ends up not being much of an event, but I have a hunch that we're going to get some good snow out of this one for sure. All right, let's see. Brandon asking, are we able to access the website that you use? Yeah, Brandon, for sure. Yeah, I show a lot of this stuff on our website, which is regionweather.com. But this one is readily open and available. Absolutely, you can see the link there. It's weather.cod.edu. And then you can go in the forecasting. They've got all sorts of tools on here. You get all the models that you can go through. You get all sorts of the product on there as well. There's a lot of websites like this. This is the one I prefer because it's all kind of together and I think it looks good as well. So yeah, absolutely. You can also go on here and look up satellite and radar data, stuff like that. So for sure. The other main website I used to forecast personally as a meteorologist is WeatherBell. And that is run by a team of meteorologists. You do have to pay for that though. It's like $24 a month, something like that. So it's a little steep, but they have all the models as well and some discussion. And I like to use that. But for a basic average person that loves weather, this is a great website to use. It's from the College of DuPage, so it's local in Indiana. Tom says it's been a boring winter. Boy, it sure has been, Tom. I know. We have a big snow hole downstate where they haven't had any snow yet. It's unreal. It's just unreal. Lord, praise Jesus. Dorothy remembers these snowstorms. Dorothy, I remember you hit me up on another snowstorm before. Yeah, I mean, this is the time of year for snowstorms, especially on into February as we start to get the Gulf of Mexico moisture attached. So for sure. Any idea what the following weekend, January 28th, looks like for Monticello? We'll be tent camping with the Boy Scouts. Boy, Linda, is that a joke? You're tent camping outside? Linda, it looks, let's see, what's today's 18th? Just looking ahead, boy, about 7 to 10 days from now, it looks like we get another decent cold snap. We're going to stay cold for a while. Boy, the models, Linda, during that time frame, that might be on the tail end of it, but boy, the models brought some really cold air down, like coldest of the season. So we'll see the time frame on that. It's a little too early to pinpoint, but we can detect trends, and it looks like we're going to be playing with some really cold air then. So we'll see. Yeah, Chris, you're absolutely right. Yep, just like the U.S. ones, a little less makeup. Ryan, good question. What are you thinking for possible totals for Western LaPorte County? That's where it gets interesting. I think we may have our bullseye somewhere around there. So as of right now, I would say 6 inches is possible, and maybe 6 or more. It's going to be a really fluffy snow because it's lake effect. So the big flakes, real fluffy, blow it around, move it around easily. And the big flakes, remember, tend to add up pretty quickly. So we get a couple decent snow squalls in here, and we'll be talking several inches in a hurry. So as of right now, I would say 6 looks good. Maybe more than that, depending on how it goes. But we'll be pretty solid with that. And Sherry, less for you in DeMont. I don't know if the biggest snow band will come down and hit you in DeMont, but again, we could certainly be dealing with snow showers, and those can add up quickly too. Brandon, just trying to learn more about me. Do I have any pets? We had a cat, and our cat passed away. So we are petless right now. It's not long before I convince my wife to get a dog, so we'll see. Linda, I know, I wish. I love the fact that you're going to get through that and that you're going to do that. That's great. That sounds good. All right, everybody. So we'll have another update tomorrow. We'll post a graphic update for you as well to keep you ahead of this. But again, only thing you need to do right now, if you have travel plans, Thursday morning commute, Thursday evening commute, Porter, LaPorte counties, you're probably going to encounter some problems with some lake effect snow. Okay, could be heavy at times. Okay. So we'll have another update tomorrow. We'll kind of fine tune amounts and where we're expecting this to go and how long it's expected to last. Okay. Tomorrow, temps drop all day. It's going to be cold. Bundle up. All right. Talk to you soon.